Here.
Thank you.
Oh.
Kami?
I'm here, Misa. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking, Kami. I hope you're good too. Carol?
I'm here.
Thank you. Erica?
I'm here.
Thank you, Erica. Jane?
Here.
You? Jasmine?
You said Jasmine, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Jessica?
Hi, Misa. I'm here.
Hi, Jess. Thank you. Johnny?
Hi, Misa. I'm here.
Hi, Johnny. Thank you. Judy?
Misa, just so you know, there's like a buzzing, so we can't hear you. Oh, or is that from Ariel? Misa, go ahead.
Juliana?
There you go.
Here. Hi.
Hi, thank you.
If you said somebody else before that too, you might have to repeat it because we didn't hear it.
Okay, Judy? Juliana, you said you're here. Thank you. All right, Keith?
Here.
Thank you. Kelsey?
Here.
Thank you. Mariana?
Here.
Thank you. Mason?
Here.
Thank you. Miranda?
Here.
Thank you. No, Robbie?
Here.
Thank you. Saba?
Here.
Thank you. Wesley?
Hello, Misa. I am here.
Hi, Wesley. Thank you. Wafa?
Here.
Thank you. Marcus Robertson?
Here.
Thank you, Marcus. Francesca?
Here.
Thank you. All right. Kevin?
Here.
Thank you so much. Alec?
Here.
Thank you. Zoe?
Here. Hi.
Hi. Thank you. All right. Hema? Okay. Cynthia?
She's having connectivity. Oh,
Sorry, I just got in, but I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Me? Adora?
Here.
Thank you. LeSean?
Here.
Thank you so much. Theodora?
Here.
And David. Right. We are good to go. Thank you so much, Wafa.
Awesome. Thank you, Misa. Next, I'll pass it over to Jessica for a Vincentian story.
Hi, everybody. So in lieu of today being the first GB that we have our new senators, I wanted to welcome them into our space and also share a story, a Vincentian story of how St. Vincent and the confraternities, that's such a long word, of charity, welcome people in their communities back in the day. So before, every time they would share a meal, they would always just like spread out like a sheet of like clean, crisp, like tablecloth. And this is just like symbolize that they were acknowledging each and every person, and they were acknowledging their like that person's dignity. And obviously we don't have to do that. We don't have to give our new senators like a white tablecloth, but maybe just like sending them a message and just letting them know that you're here, and acting like as a resource for them, even if if they do like ever need something. I just feel like we do so many like important things, and it can be helpful for new people to just feel that they are here in this space, and what they share is important, and what they share is something that of value to each and every one of us. And also one other thing, back in the day, St. Vincent would always wear like a cloak, and this cloak he would wear it no matter who he is meeting in the community, whether it be the rich, the powerful, the sick, the poor, he would wear the same cloak. And again, this is to signify that no matter who the person is, whether they're new to the space, whether they've been here already, he treats them all the same way. And that's something that has to be done with respect, with compassion. And hopefully this is something that we do to people who may be new to our space, and we've already been doing that. So just to continue being a resource to everyone, making sure that they're okay, even just explaining what the acronyms mean, like what is JBoard, what is CRV, something that may be useful to people just to lessen the stress that they may be having. And I will leave you with this quote that from St. Vincent, in which he said, "When we sit together in solidarity, we are not only honoring the human dignity of a person, but we're also including their experiences and hardships." So to end, welcome to our new senators, and I'm happy that you're here with us. And if you ever need anything, please send me a message. We should all be on Slack. So that's it from me. I yield back to Wadfa. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Juliana for formation.
Hey everyone, I know some of you guys were here when when it was announced what my costume was. It's a very cheap costume that honestly any of us could do, but if you know who I am and you weren't here in the call, put it in the chat. Anyways, for today, I wanted us to do a cool icebreaker and do 2 truths and 1 lie, but make it Halloween themed. So whoever's in charge of doing, oh, thank you. Whoever's in charge of breaking us up into breakout rooms, if you could do that, that would be great. So yeah, just 2 truths, 1 lie, Halloween themed, and that's pretty much it.
Love Bertha. Okay, cool.
How about Cindy as her middle name, Robbie?
I'm sorry, what's happening?
I was trying to pick someone whose name isn't on GB, and like, I'm sorry, Cindy.
All right. Well, we're going to go on. Actually, no, before I forget, we were talking in our breakout group. If you guys have like Halloween costumes this weekend, send them in the Slack so we could all see them, because I'm really excited to see everyone's costumes. But to continue, I'm going to hand it over to Kami for the budget report.
Hey, y'all. Can everybody hear me? Okay, that's always like my biggest fear. But yeah, I'm doing the budget. So should I share my screen, question mark? Can I do that? Or do you want to if you want to share it, that's perfectly fine, and I'll just talk through it.
Oh, you're good. You can share it. I don't have it up. Are you able to share it? I'll just make you a co-host.
Ooh. All right, let's see. Share screen. Okay. Can everybody see that? Okay, yay, things are working. Okay, y'all. So for folks who have been in SGA before, you've seen this before because we've gone over it. For new folks, this is our 2020-2021 budget. I, as the treasurer, have to present this to y'all. I have really awful vision, so I think this is like the point where I can see it, but if y'all want to like see a little bit farther away, I can leave it here for like a couple of seconds, but I can't read that. So we're gonna go back here. So we have our categories over here: promotional materials, supplies, service day event fund, internal affairs, committee funds, and it is separated per committee. And then over here we have like the numbers and all that stuff. So here are the breakdowns. We went over kind of how we wanted to lay this out earlier in the year. So for promotional materials, we put 10%. For supplies, we put 5. Service day event fund, we put 10. Internal affairs, 25. Committee funds, 50%, and then that's broken up into 12.5% for each committee. Sorry, that's my dog. And so obviously those percentages break down over here into actual money numbers. The total amount of money that we get for the SGA budget is $16,048. This you can see right here. Can y'all see my mouse? Yeah? Okay, cool beans. Obviously, as y'all can see, we haven't been spending money. This is because 1, we're not in person, and 2, we really haven't done much. Y'all haven't requested any money or put in any expenses. Besides, if y'all can see right over here, internal affairs, $554.09. This is because we ordered SGA quarter zips. Every year we get like some cool SGA wear. I know last year we did long sleeves. The year before that, I believe it was hoodies. This year we did quarter zips. So that has gone into internal affairs. I saw someone raise their hand, but I can't see who or what because I'm sharing my screen, if that makes sense.
It's Erica. Do you want to wait till the end for questions, or do you mind taking them in the middle?
If Erica or anyone else is like me, I'll probably forget my question. So Erica, if you want to go right now, go ahead.
I just have a quick question. How was it $5,752 remaining under internal affairs?
Where do you see that? Oh, over here.
Yes.
Ah, Wesley. That's actually a really good question. I don't know where that number came from. That does not make sense because down here it shows the correct amount overall.
Kami, can you click on the square?
Which square? This one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's some like extra numbers at the top.
Yeah, your
so it's
formula.
like
There's a
adding
formula
something.
error.
I did not make the formula, y'all. All right. We can fix that though. Thank you for pointing that out, Erica. I will fix that. But yeah, other than that, we have no other expenses. So this is the update of the current budget. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, or concerns? I know that before when we talked about the actual percentages and the breakdown of the budget, we talked about saving the service day event fund for specific purposes, probably for like a mutual aid fund, something like that. Who knows, maybe service day in the spring quarter will come back. Maybe COVID will go away. So we don't really want to do anything too drastic because we never really know what's going on with this global pandemic. But if y'all have anything else you want to add, maybe a comment, a suggestion, something that you want to do with a certain amount of money, feel free. This is our money. This is our budget. People of SGA get to do what we want with it to an extent.
Any questions? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you so much, Kami. Oh, Robbie raised his hand.
Oh, go ahead.
This may be a silly question, but how would we be able, I don't know. I just don't know how I would spend money from my committee, or just on anything in general while things are virtual. What would be like the solution to that? And I guess what would happen, I guess explain it to members, like what would happen if that money were not to be spent this year? Or this quarter, sorry.
I bet that Courtney can give a better, more concrete answer, but I know that last year with the money that was not spent, we donated it to folks who needed it with one of the many mutual aid funds and emergency funds and things like that that DePaul had set up for students who needed it. Obviously, and Courtney has suggested against this as well, and I bet that all of you would agree that we should refrain from doing such up until probably the end of the year again, because who knows, maybe COVID's going to go away. We still have 2 full quarters of school for this year. So yeah, but I know that when we talked about the budget that we wanted to save a certain amount. I think it was the service day event fund that obviously will not happen if COVID continues. But yeah, I think Courtney can give a better answer to that.
Yeah, Kami, I think you nailed it on the head. I would also share there are a few committees that I know have been in touch with me about like some expenses for like I like Francesca might talk about it later. Like she's working on something with the mental health ad hoc committee that will eventually get transitioned to Marcus. And like Robbie, if the the idea that you and I are talking about comes to fruition, we may have some expenses from that. Which I think if that idea comes to fruition, it's going to take a good chunk of change. So we might be able to do some internal reallocation for it as well.
Thank you both.
Kami, sorry, can you go over the process if a senator, well, and maybe really anyone, if a senator or anyone has an idea for a activity, how they go about getting a budget request approved?
Yeah, so I've never actually had to do that myself. This is my first year being treasurer, y'all, but we would have to talk it over. Oh, wait, am I still sharing my screen? That was a mistake. Hold on, let me stop sharing my screen so I can actually see y'all. Okay. We would have to talk it over. Y'all would have to bring the proposal, the amount of money, what you want to use it for, where you want to draw it from. And I believe that we would then, in the Constitution, Wesley, when we went over it last year, did we agree that over a certain amount we have to bring it over to GB for it to be approved? I forgot what that specific amount was. Was it 500?
I don't remember. We definitely made it, but I'll look 1 second.
Yeah, it's either 500 or 250.
Yeah, y'all. So obviously, like small expenses, everything needs to run through the treasurer and go into the budget, because then we have no idea how much money we have or don't have. But if it is a certain large amount, it does need to be approved by the general body. So obviously, we're not going to be spending the whole $16,000 on one project. But yeah, please don't be afraid to like use this. Like it's there to be used. It's already ours. So back to your point, Robbie, if you have something in mind, bring it up.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? I saw some hands up earlier, then they went down, so I don't know if people still have some. Okay, cool. Thank you, Gami. Next, I'm gonna pass it to Kevin to talk about DePaul's 125th anniversary.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Happy Thursday. So I just wanted to give everyone an update on the 125th University birthday. We're celebrating it in, I think, 2 years now, 2023? Well, 2.5, I guess. So if you actually saw a Newsline today, they announced that we have opened up the bid if you want to create the university's not its new logo, but the logo that we'll be using for that academic year for sure. This logo will be included in all of our letterheads. If we put on merchandising, athletics will be using it. So it's a rather, I guess, important logo we'll be using for quite some time. If you do apply and your artwork is chosen, you get a scholarship of $3,000. You can work with students. So a few things that they did change. Originally, we were supposed to announce the start of the contest on November 9th, but we decided to announce it before the election because we figured most students would not be paying attention to Newsline or really anything that's really school related next week. So they answered today. you have until the end of this quarter, so until November 25th, to apply to be in this contest, and then you have until the end of spring quarter to actually submit your artwork. You can do group work with this contest. So if you wanted to get involved with as many as 20 students, it's definitely feasible. Depending on how they're splitting the reward money, I don't think we've quite hammered that out. One of the administrators recommended that they potentially give out $3,000 to each student that is a part of like the group, and then others have talked about kind of just splitting it amongst the group. So I will continue to kind of advocate for, I think, $3,000 per student. I think that'd be much more helpful, and you get a lot more students to get involved with this. So, and then the way they're going to be picking this new logo, I guess, is they're going to start out by having everyone who has submits their artwork, the students who will pick it, who will pick the logos and kind of like narrow it down to a select few. From there, a panel of 10 faculty and students and staff will meet, and they're hoping to have preferred art majors or students who are majoring in like logo design or in that type of PR be on that committee, because they have a bit more expertise in choosing what like goes into a logo and how they'll be designed. After that panel picks the art logos, it goes off to another committee of 5 alumni, students, and professors potentially, who will pick 2. And then from there, it goes to President Esteban, who will pick the final winner. And then they will announce it right around the time of commencement at the end of this school year. They are asking that for the first panel, they're asking for an SGA representative to sit on that first committee. I told them I'd bring that back to the group to pick. I can self-nominate or we can have, I think, general body pick somebody if they think we would want someone who's a bit more in, I guess, the arts world, because I'm not too familiar with that. So that's something I would not open to you guys. Give any feedback on that?
Kevin, can I just say that it's so awesome that you're doing this work, and I think it's even more awesome that like they gave you this opportunity and you're like bringing it to the general body so that it's like a democratic process. I think that's so awesome and noble of you. So thanks.
Thank you, Francesca.
Just to clarify, Kevin, the question, if there's a question, is about like if you should appoint someone to sit on the panel, or like that process. Is that what you were asking?
They gave us the option of like sending either just myself to that committee, because I've been a part of like what the rules are, I guess, to like what the rules and criteria is. So I guess I have a decent idea of what the committee will be looking for. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to take away anyone's like ability from like serving on this potential committee as well, because it'll be 2 separate like entire committees, and I figured I'd bring it to the whole GB to kind of see if anyone would like to either throw their name in, or you guys can always just have me just sit on the committee as well. It's up to you guys, I guess. I didn't want to make the decision myself and count people out.
Does anyone have any input for
Okay.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I guess the next question would be, is there anybody here who would want to sit on that committee?
I put it in the chat. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I see the chat hasn't like popping off. I've seen. I'm sorry. Okay.
Hey, Kevin, what's the event this is for again? What's it called?
So this is for the university's quasi centennial birthday, like that.
I just wanted to hear you say the word. Sorry.
Fair enough. So yeah, it's you will be picking a piece of artwork that will be going to another committee. Two will pick another piece of artwork that will eventually go to the university, and you'll play, in a sense, you'll be a part of the process that you'll get to see your work on athletics. You'll be seeing it on banners and all of that. So it's a cool opportunity. I thought Erica put her name in there. I don't know, like, did we like vote on there?
I'm not sure.
Or do we just want to like table something like this until like next meeting? Like,
Yeah, I was thinking
stuff to go through for like later.
I was thinking if you wanted to touch base with Erica, just to go over like more concrete details and stuff like that, because I know you said you were interested as well, and then Erica was too. And then depending on like, I don't think we would need to vote on this. I don't know, but if you thought like we would need to, then I guess we could next week. But I don't think we do unless anyone else has any objections to it.
Motion to table this till next week so everyone can hammer this out.
Second.
All in favor? I'm not supposed to second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
To answer Courtney's question, they preferred to only have one SGA member be a part of the group because it's going to be comprised of 3 students, 3 staff, and 3 faculty. So I think the other 2 students will be, I think, more like students who have a more familiar background in like the art like world, I guess you could say. And then the last thing I had like noted here was that I think in a report earlier, I mentioned that like staff could get involved with like making the logo. However, we did end up changing that to where now it can only be submitted by students. If you still would like to reach out to somebody on staff or on faculty, you can, but the primary artwork and when you go to submit it, it can only have the student's name on this. So like if that staff member is like thinking, or faculty member, if they're thinking like, oh, like my name will be a part of this, they will not be. Does anyone else have any other questions regarding this? Are we all good? Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Next, I'll hand it to Alyssa for the president's report.
Cool. Hey, everyone. So just for some context, usually president's report, vice president's report, advisor's report, we save that to the very end, but we have CRB today and it might run a little longer. So we saved the best for last, so we get to end with that. But yeah, first of all, I wanted to say thank you for all of our new members. I'm so excited you guys are here and like serving with everyone here. So I'm really excited and it's gonna be a good year. Courtney has a thing, I have a thing too. I forgot what it's called, but I have one too. So we're really excited that you all are here. I'm gonna make my report as quick as possible so we can move on to CRB. First thing is, this is a reminder that we have President Esteban coming as a guest next week. So just be prepared for that. I know I've asked you guys for questions and concerns, so thank you for submitting that. I sent it to them yesterday, but I believe you'll be given the chance to ask questions on the spot then. So just be prepared for that and get ready to engage in conversation with President Esteban because it's really a great opportunity. He usually doesn't go to other student orgs meetings. The second thing is a lot of concerns were raised about like enrollment and then the Ban the Box initiative. So I invited Veep, Jean, and Sumitra to come to answer any more questions. We only have 2 more meetings left for this quarter, so they will be coming in winter. After President Esteban comes, I'm gonna send out the same like Google form to just get like questions and concerns that you guys have so I can send it to them. They just like to have it in advance because there's a lot of data involved and statistics and they just wanna be prepared to come with all the information prior to the meeting as much as they can. So be on the lookout for that. The third thing I'd like to talk about is we have a couple vacancies in our Senate. We have 3, senator for veteran students, senator for the College of Law, and then unfortunately IU just resigned, so senator for graduate students as well. So we are going to be posting about that in our social media soon. So if you know anyone who would like to be appointed to that position, tell them to fill it out. We're gonna go through similar to what we did with vice president, we're going to go through, they can send their cover letter and their resume. I'm still thinking about if an interview is needed or not. And then I will present all of the people who applied to the rest of you guys, and then we'll vote. So that's how that's going to work. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, I yield. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Alyssa. Next is the Vice President's report. So I don't really have much. I mentioned this at GB Retreat. Oh, first of all, thank you guys all for coming to GB Retreat. I hope you liked it. If you haven't filled out like the feedback form, please do so I can use it and like refer to it as we're planning for the winter retreat. But yeah, awesome. So thank you for that. But I mentioned during the retreat that we're talking about having a diversity, equity, and inclusion town hall. Robbie, Alyssa, myself, and Jocelyn are working on that right now. Complete transparency, it was not that it was an assignment for a project, but for one of my capstone classes, we needed to hold an event. And I figured this would kind of be like the best one and the most effective way to like combine, you know, my life with SGA and also like my academic life. And I thought it could be a really good long-term goal for SGA to have these types of town halls quarterly, just so we could actually engage with the different student orgs on campus. So if anyone is interested, I know a couple people reached out to me after Saturday. If anyone else is interested in being part of it, please reach out to me. We're gonna have like a discussion at the beginning, and then the end is going to be a panel with SGA representatives. So that's the chance for students to express concerns to the representatives or ask questions. So yeah, I'll take note of people that mention it to me. If you send it in the chat, could you send it to me on Slack actually, because I might lose it in the chat right now. But yeah, so thank you, that's all I have. Next, I will hand it to Ariel and Courtney for the advisors report. Oh, good question. Haha, the town hall is November 11th at 5:30 to 7. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions about it? Okay, now I'll pass it to Courtney and Ariel.
Ariel, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, hello and welcome again to all the new senators. I'm really looking forward to getting to know all of you guys better. And let's see, first of all, a very special thank you to all the people who sent videos in. I know it's kind of last minute, the why I vote videos. I know that my coworkers in OSI and like the elections team, they say thank you guys all so much for your time and for your help with all this election kind of preparation we're doing. And on that note, we're also in process, or we've also organized 2 post-election discussions that are going to be led by SGA members, Kelsey, Ari, Jane, and Robbie. So thank you guys so much for helping out with that. One will be November 5th and at 3 p.m. and one will be Monday, November 9th at 5 p.m. So you guys are all invited to participate in that. You guys are all invited to come support, and it's really going to be just like a student-led space to process election. I know a couple other departments like OMSS and the Health and Wellness, organization are doing a few like post-election things as well, but this is just like a student-led space for you guys that all students are going to be invited to come and talk about whatever the election is, how people are feeling post-election. So probably more on that to come, but thank you guys all again for helping me plan these post-election activities.
Cool. And then, as a friendly reminder, I think for weeks now I've been talking about Election Day. Election Day is this Tuesday, November 3rd. I also just wanted to remind everyone, if you haven't registered to vote yet and you live in the state of Illinois, that's okay. The state of Illinois gives you the capacity to walk up and register on the day of the election. So if you need any help with figuring that out, I am happy to help you to make sure that you have all of your documentation. The other thing I just wanted to note, there's been a lot of messaging lately that if you requested a mail-in ballot and you haven't yet sent in your ballot, it might be too late. The post office is a little bit overwhelmed. So I would encourage you to look up what your options are to turn in your ballot in person. Chicago has boxes all over the place, but if you're in other parts of the state, there are certified places where you can still drop off your ballot. So just, if it's been sitting there and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to send this, your vote can still count. I just want to make sure everybody knows that your vote can still count. You just may have to walk it somewhere. So just wanted to, again, please vote. Like we all, I think we've been talking about for weeks how important this is. So just wanted to be sure to put one final plug in. I also wanted to give Alyssa a shout out about Alyssa, Ari, and Marcus. I think, and Jocelyn, I think, came in on one of them too, for your participation in the Civic Engagement and Social Action Series. If y'all didn't have a chance to watch any of them, they're all on our website. It was just really, really spectacular. We talked with, well, and they talked with people from the ACLU Illinois, professors from DePaul, people who have run for state senate, some SGA alums that are now involved in the political office. So I just really wanted to shout out. Alyssa was at all of them, and we had a lot of other people come in. So just wanted to say thank you all for your commitment to that. I think it turned out really, really wonderfully. Then for our academic college majors, and Francesca, as she's representing, are going to be in this too. I just wanted to remind you that the tree lighting ceremony recording is happening. We're either doing it on campus, or if you can't get here or you don't want to, that's totally fine too. I'm going to send you everything to participate in a remote capacity. I am though, since we have, Alyssa, can you remind me of the Senate positions that are open?
Senator for College of Law, veteran students, and graduate students.
Okay. So Marcus, I might reach out to you to ask you if you're willing to do the veteran, or well, actually, just kidding. I don't need a veteran one. I need somebody from the College of Law. Sorry about that. But I'll be, yeah, I'll be sending you all messages about that with final details. So thank you all for participating. It should be hopefully a really fun time. And then the last thing I just wanted to say, we're in week 8 right now. And if you are like me, you may be tired, right? You may have Zoom fatigue. You may be getting, oh, thank you, Watfa. Johnny, I didn't realize you're in the College of Law.
I was messaging you as you called me out on Zoom.
Great. I need your help. So I'll shoot you a message. Thanks for that, Wappa. So we're in week 8 right now. I think you all are tired of being on Zoom meetings, and just like, if you're like me, you might need a break. So the thing that I want to say, I know that a lot of times you all do a ton of advocacy work and really go hard for SGA here. I want to give you all, like, I want to encourage you to create space to give yourself a break over this fall break. Like, still work on your initiatives, still do things, but also find a chance to unplug a little bit, because I think you all need it. You've deserved it. We're still going through a pandemic. We're still at a place where racial injustices are at the forefront of our society. Just, I hope you all can find the way to give yourself permission to take a little bit of a break. I don't think we do that enough, and it's okay to rest. We need that rest so that we can be fully charged and be at our best for other people moving forward. So as we're heading towards the end of fall quarter, I just think that's important to say, because put a bow on whatever you can. It will be here when you get back in January and we restart these meetings. So again, I want to encourage you all to create that space for yourselves. So as always, you are loved. I care about each and every one of you. If there's anything I can do to help you, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. Okay, so now we're going to get into the big part of today's meeting, which is constitutional revision. So just to give a quick background, there's a question in the chat. How was it decided what senator positions are available? If this is in terms of the vacancies, it was the ones that weren't filled for fall elections. So there were some positions that we didn't have anyone running for.
Sorry, I just mean why is there a senator of veterans but not a senator of disabled students? I just mean how are the positions created, and is it possible to create a new position for a group of students that would need to be represented? Sorry, my question was vague.
No, it's okay. That actually kind of goes into what we're going to be talking about. So new positions are usually created through constitutional revision. So someone could send in a revision saying I think there needs to be a senator for veteran students or a senator for commuter students, and then it gets voted on by the general body, and if it passes, then we'll have a new position open. So yeah, that's definitely how it would go about. It's too late to send in a revision for fall quarter. but it's something that you can send in for winter quarter. And to like echo what Jane was saying in the chat too, that's something I was interested in also. So if we all wanted to work together, we definitely can. But to continue, we're going to be going over a few amendments that are smaller and then one that's like really big. So we'll take a break if there's time before the big one, because I don't want us to be like on Zoom for too long and like get really tired. Everyone like needs a break to stretch their legs and stuff. But to give like just an overview, I mentioned it on Saturday, but what happens is every quarter we go over the Constitution, and if someone has suggestions, they can send them in through a survey, whether it's things they want to change, things they want to add, things they want to remove. CRB, Constitutional Revisions Board, will meet, go through them, and then if we think they're worth like a discussion, we'll send them to GB and talk about them. So that's what we're doing tonight. There's going to be a lot of voting. So in terms of how we vote, we start by presenting it, and then we open the floor for questions. So anybody, whether you're a voting member or not, can ask questions, and then we motion to a discussion. Once in discussion, the recording stops, non-voting members are removed. I don't want to be like removed, but they're put in like a waiting room. And then this is our chance to discuss the amendment, pros, cons, whatever it is. And then in terms of discussion, you have 4 chances to speak for 2.5 minutes each. So I'll be timing it just so we're all like on the same page and we're timed. I know we usually don't do that, but just because we're on Zoom and we have a lot to discuss, I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to talk and that we aren't talking for too long. And then, so someone would motion to discussion, someone would second it, we move into discussion. And then in discussion, you can motion to a vote. You could motion to vote by roll call. So we just go down the attendance list and then everyone will get a chance to vote. Or we could vote by acclamation. And if that gets everyone in favor of it, everyone seconds it, then it basically just passes without us having to go through a roll call vote. The different ways you could vote, you can vote aye, which is yes, nay, which is no, abstain or present. I like copied and pasted what abstain and present mean, just so you can read through them because they can be a little confusing. So yeah, this is like straight out of a voting guide that Wesley made. Cool. Before we start, any questions? I know I just spit like a lot at you. So if there's any questions that come up, please send them in the chat. There'd be more than like one person willing to answer them too. Cool. Okay. Alyssa, can you share your screen, please, with the PowerPoint?
For sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. I can't see you guys anymore, so let me know if, all right, well, I guess I can see like 5 of you. I think I'm doing it.
Yes, you are. You can go ahead to the next slide. Cool. So this is the first one. I'm going to hand it over to Johnny to present it.
Hi there. So I'm taking the first 2 amendments that we proposed or that came to us and we approved. And the first one was essentially to remove the recording and live streaming and posting to YouTube aspect of our meetings. Just a little bit of context around it. Some people did not feel comfortable being recorded on camera, and that did not come from SGA senators. It came from both students, faculty, and staff who have been guests at our meetings. And we wanted to accommodate them, as well as information that is, you know, once on the internet, it's always there, and it can have ramifications for people and their families. And with that, I'll motion to discussion. Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we are now in recording. Cool. Okay, so the previous one we decided will be sent back to CRB to be revised, and then we'll bring it back to GB to propose it again at a later date. So John, you can go ahead and present this one again.
Hi there. Thanks for listening to my spiel twice. I personally proposed this amendment because it seems, based on my past experience in SGA, every quarter for CRB we get over 30 possible amendments. Most of them are syntax related and grammar related, and I believe that takes away from the actual meat and bones, creating new positions, creating important things in the Constitution for the general body, and spending multiple meetings on CRB, while important, takes away from our purpose as a whole. This amendment would cap the number of possible amendments at 25, which I believe is still pretty high, and allows for everything to go through. and the important ones to be streamlined. Motion to move to discussion. I think that was everything I said the first time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we are now in discussion. Well, thank you. Okay, so this one did not pass, so we'll go on to the next one. Kelsey, you're presenting on this, correct?
Yep, that's me.
Thank you.
Hi again, folks. So I'm just going to read this and then I can provide clarification. The budget committee shall be chaired by the treasurer, run in accordance with the budget committee bylaws, and shall exist to set priorities for student representatives on SHRAC and TPC. For clarification, SHRAC is the Strategic Resource Allocation Committee, which I can explain in a second. If you have no idea what that means, don't worry about it. But TPC is the Tuition Pricing Committee. Would it be helpful for me to explain very briefly what SHRAC is, just for reference here, or yeah?
Please.
Okay, so basically SHRAC is a committee that they don't set the university budget, but they basically are an opportunity for faculty, staff, and student representatives to sort of participate in like a comprehensive budgeting process. So they basically work on budget planning, and eventually they vote on a budget that they will recommend to President Esteban. And then based on how he feels about it, what he thinks should be changed, whatever, and then he'll bring it to the board of trustees, and they're the ones who finalize the budget. So that is sort of important in them having their say. Yeah, so I guess, are there any questions, or would we like to move to discussion?
Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we are now in discussion. So we are recording. People should be admitted from the waiting room. So we'll go on. Oh, do I have to say again for the recording? So this one passed about the budget committee. So yeah, next one. I forgot who I said was presenting this one. Did I reach out to anyone to present on it? If not, I can.
I am.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys, so for the next one, the current language on our Constitution is that a quorum will be defined as 3/4 of the total amount of voting members in the general body, and we're proposing that a quorum will be defined as 50% plus one of the members of the voting members in the general body. For those of you who need some extra context, quorum is basically a number that we have to meet every time we vote. So for example, if there's if GB were 4 people and only 2 people were present, that means that we wouldn't be able to vote because we're not meeting quorum of which is 3/4. So we're hoping to reduce that to 50% because quorum has been a huge barrier in the past, which has prevented us from being able to pass very important policies and very important resolutions and documents. So that's the whole purpose of this proposed amendment revision. Any questions?
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We are now in discussion. Cool. So this one passed. And now we'll go on to the last smaller change, and then we'll take a break after this one too, just so everyone could stretch their legs for about like 5 minutes. Okay, Gato, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay, so there's a lot of text on the slide, so I'm going to try and be as brief as possible. I'm also having to head out no later than 8:10 p.m., so I'm going to try and be quick, but if you have any questions, please stop me. I'm just going to begin by saying that much of the current language is staying largely the same. Hopefully you all were able to read it through before this meeting just because there is so much text. Basically, the proposal lists liaisons as a non-voting member approved by cabinet for any recognized organization or student population to bring attention to the affairs of their respective organization and cannot be a current sitting member of SGA. They also cannot affect quorum, but they can participate in debates and bring forward motions in GB. An addition that has been added to this proposed language is that the liaison has the duty of being an ex officio member of the budget committee. That was a lot. If you would like me to go over any specifics, please let me know. Otherwise, you can move to discussion.
Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we are now in discussion. Okay, so for the recording, this passed. But we're gonna go ahead and take like a break till like 7:03, just so everyone can like stretch their legs. We have a lot, I don't want to be like a lot more, but we have a whole nother, how many more pros? Okay, so we're done with all the smaller ones, but we have like a newly proposed constitution to discuss when we get back. So it's gonna be a longer discussion. But for that reason, I want 8:04. I want everyone to have 5 minutes. Okay, 8:04. I want everyone to have a chance to take a break and grab a snack, grab water, whatever it is, and then we can come back and discuss it. So go ahead and take a break till 8:04.
Collectively represents colleges, years, and student communities. And the Senate is in charge of selecting the president and vice president from among themselves after the election. So the first meeting after the election, they would elect the president and vice president. And then they have certain things they'll do. The president and vice president will do certain things to fill our other executive positions that I will get to in a second. It's commonly referred to as a parliamentary system. President and vice president in the system, because they will be senators, they would retain the right to vote. VP would save theirs for breaking/creating ties. And the Senate, same things as currently, they would oversee the work of student reps, make recommendations, basically the same things they have now. And they would appoint 2 members to the budget committee, CRB, EOB, and J board. Executive/cabinet, as I mentioned, president and VP are selected from the Senate to lead the executive, or to just be in those positions. And then the president would appoint treasurer and EVPs to form the cabinet, and they'd be confirmed as normal in the Senate. The staff would then be appointed by the cabinet, which is currently what the current procedure is. It's appointed by cabinet, confirmed as normal as usual, which is just a simple majority vote to confirm. They would, executive/cabinet itself would appoint 2 members to budget committee, CRB, EOB, and J board. And their responsibilities would be leading GB and furthering the mission, appointing SGA representatives to university committees, and handling any items that require immediate action that might not be able to be, might be too timely, or it would not be effective for it to be addressed at like a GB meeting. Say something happened on a Friday and we're still having GB meetings on Thursdays. If cabinet can meet, because it's a smaller group, to address that if it needs to be. So the elections, how these would be changed. I mentioned making more elections competitive. Obviously, be an at-large race, so that changes it up a lot too, just because there would be the only open position would be SGA senator, so you're running for senator, not necessarily a senator for a specific college, year, community, etc. And then the candidates may run as a party may. You don't have to, but you can. And parties listed before independent candidates by their members grouped under the ballot, under the party name. More than mathematical stuff, I could explain the DeHunt method. It's not really worth it. Basically, it's just proportional representation based on the amount of votes you get. There's like an example of what it would look like over here based on how many votes each party gets. At the bottom, it says ties in the final seat/quotient will be resolved by giving each of the parties that tie of a seat, so it can allow expansion if need be. But don't think we would get ties. Though I said that last year and we had a tie, so whatever. Committees in general, just committees how they look. They're basically the same. Some of this I also doubt like super tight on, like the ad hoc committees renamed subcommittees. If we want to change that later, we definitely can. That would just a renaming to make it more uniform, I guess. Special committees, as I mentioned, would have limited memberships as opposed to the membership they have now, which is fairly broad. They would have appointed memberships, especially because in the case of like CRB or even J board, where J board has sort of more power under this, I would want those memberships limited in the sense like if we're going to give them more power, having more control over who is sitting on those, the same way that we limit membership on the executive, Senate, etc. Liaisons, I'm not going to talk about this because it was already passed, so this would just be part of it. The liaison that we passed tonight will be part of it. J-Board, as I mentioned, right now they provide official final interpretations, I think it is. These would just have them being able to provide official interpretations. Basically, some of the responsibilities in terms of they can do, or they do, like disciplinary action if you violate the Constitution, bylaws. they'll be running in accordance with the J Board bylaws as they currently are, so no change really there. Other small changes, the quorum thing would not be changed because we already passed that. The mission creation process is clarified. Internal elections will be replaced with special elections, so a special election will be run in the same way that the elections that I described a few slides ago would be, as opposed to internal elections where we vote. It would be a special election where the student body votes. This would be useful in the sense that, like, if every position is just SGA senator, it wouldn't be that hard to, like, it wouldn't require that much effort as opposed to, like, right now, if we're missing, like, right now we're missing Center for Veteran Students. We have to, like, find someone who actually wants to run for that. And also just a lot of smaller changes that are grammatical fixes or sharpening language in some ways. That is pretty much, I think that's the end of the presentation. I try to go through that quickly just because I don't want to spend too much time going through detail after detail. But I would gladly take questions.
Thank you. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. Any motions as well, same thing.
Motion to move to discussion.
I saw Kami's hand first. Am I allowed to?
I just sorry, I'm chewing again.
It's okay.
I just wanted to make sure that the new members knew that once we're in discussion, you can make a motion to amend the amendment as well. I don't think we mentioned this in the previous amendments, but if you don't like something, for example, the parties or whatever, you can say, I make a motion to amend this language, and then you can change the language, and then we vote on that language, and then that language has to get voted on later on to be approved, and then we can vote on the amendment as a whole. So basically, if you don't like some parts of the amendment, you can amend the amendment before we voted it at large, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you, Kami. Johnny, your hand's up. Is it for a question?
It's to make a motion.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Motion to move to discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, we are now in this, Courtney. Cool, I was just gonna ask. But yeah, so thank you guys for being patient and lost my train of thought, sorry. Thank you guys for being patient and like discussing through this, like Courtney said. Alyssa and I will touch base because I know Alyssa kind of mapped out our schedule for winter quarter already just based on guests and also bringing people in. So we'll talk about what date we want to set this to and let you guys know as soon as possible just because we kind of have a lot of things figured out already. But yeah, thank you guys so much. There was a hand raised and it went away. Is there a question?
Sorry, I just cleared everything because I cleared the
Okay.
yes votes. It was Robbie and Wesley had their hands up.
Okay. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Mine, no, just kidding. I didn't forget. When you guys are making, amending your proposal, the last one, is there a way like where we can, those of us who aren't on CRB can be a part of those discussions or just forward our concerns to you all or any member on CRB? Yeah,
So Johnny actually like just sent me a message saying if we could like have a Google form so people could submit parts of the specific one that they liked. That's definitely doable. Just so like we have everyone's voices heard in that discussion because I know we couldn't really go in depth much with it today. So once it gets closer to the point where we're meeting as a CRB, I can send out a Google form for people to give concerns. Kami, what's up?
Hi. I just wanted to mention that CRB happens every quarter. So if y'all just want to completely forget about this specific amendment and let Wesley handle it, y'all can also submit your own amendments because like I said, CRB happens every quarter. So we, specifically I, urge you to reread the Constitution and submit your own amendments for CRB.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. Wesley?
I just want to say, I think a Google form, I think if we want to provide feedback, I think almost like we should almost, definitely go read over it. If you haven't looked at it, go look at it. And I think a Google form would be good. I'll take the suggestions. So, but obviously what Kami just said, if you want to submit your own, please do so. But like, I think honestly, we could open it up like sometime the next couple of weeks and then have it open until winter quarter when we start, just so we can have people submitting it over winter break, etc. But that was all I want to say.
Cool. Any last lingering things about CRB? Courtney?
Wesley, in your provision, didn't you also say it was going to go into effect or like that would go into effect in 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So the thing I want to say, this conversation is important but not urgent, right? It's like it's not going to change anything about the positions of what you all are doing or anything else. So give it the time and the due diligence that the conversation needs. Because again, if you know anything about like Stephen Covey's urgent and important matrix, I encourage you to take a look at it. But this is something that's important, but you have time, right? So like don't feel like you've got to do it right now, right? Like you've got 22 more weeks of being senators here.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other things about CRB? Okay, if not, we can go on to a little bit lighter of a part of our agenda, which is affirmations. So go ahead and pick someone, send them something to make their day. Love the pom-pom. And yeah,
Can you explain it a little more? Because we have
yes. Oh yeah. So every week we do affirmations. So it's basically just our way of connecting with one another. Just kind of at the end of these meetings, having someone have something like that makes them smile. So you can pick anybody that's in GB. You could pick more than one person if you wanted to, and just send them a cute little message in the chat, privately, or if you want to send it to everybody, that's happened before too. But yeah, so we'll give that a couple minutes, and then when you're done, if you could just do like a thumbs up, so I know. Okay, this is like making me so happy. I'm about to cry. Yeah, anyway, we could go on to the next part of our schedule, and if you're still sending things out, feel free to continue. Next is new business. So new business is your chance to propose anything new that wasn't originally on the agenda. So anyone has any new business, you can go ahead and share it now. Robbie, go ahead.
Thank you, Watfa. Yeah, what Jaslyn said, like affirmations to everyone. Very great discussion. Repeating what Courtney said. So OMSS is planning programming for next quarter, winter quarter. My committee and I, Jessica, Garo, and Miranda met with them today just to talk about like things that are important to them, any concerns, things that they might want to work on with us. They created a survey just trying to gauge student interests in their programming, see what they would like to see in future programming. I'll send that in the random Slack chat to, I don't know, for you all to fill out. I really appreciate it. And the ad hoc committee for undocumented students will be meeting for the first time next week. Very excited to meet with them. If you still want to join, we are meeting, I believe it's election day. I'm so sorry. No, it's not.
I think you're right. Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday, right?
at 1. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I forgot to put in my calendar. Yeah, Tuesday at 1. So if you want to join that, message me or Alyssa. But yeah, very excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Robbie. Jessica?
I think this is more of a concern, but I'm not sure. So if anybody has like a new business, they can go ahead.
All right. I see Gami's hand up.
I kind of second Jessica's point, but since Robbie kind of went on, I would say to plug another thing, Robbie, along with Dale and Dab, have an event tomorrow about Dia de los Muertos. If y'all are free, you should pass on by and say hi to Robbie and congratulate them on their work and the event. Also, if y'all haven't followed Dale on Instagram yet, you should do that because our amazing vice president created an early voting guide and it's beautiful and it's amazing and you should look at it and repost it.
Point of information.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, just because I know we have some newcomers this meeting, just like to clarify, so new businesses for things that will be voted on by the general body, and then comments and concerns for the good of the order is generally where we do like our other comments, but not a huge deal. Also very exciting events, y'all.
Awesome. Thank you. Do we have any other new business then before we go on to questions, comments, concerns? Cool. Okay, so now we'll go on to questions, comments, concerns. Jessica, you can go ahead.
Hi again, everybody. I know we have like 10 minutes left, so please bear with me. As all of you have witnessed, not all of you, most of you, last week we had like that conversation with like Father Memo and like the rest of his team. And I brought up a question during like the latter part of like when he was here, like the Zoom, if SGA or like any student would be part of the actual approval process of like the mission statement, and he said no. And that's very worrisome, like on my end, just because like they have been reinforcing and amplifying the need for student voices. And I think it's a little maybe irresponsible that we're not part of that decision process, that it's only the board of trustees who's going to be there when we represent, again, 22,000 people from the community. And not just students, we represent other communities as well that we care for and try to like advocate for within our roles. So when he brought this up, I was like a little confused yet, and I wasn't sure of like how to go about that. And since this is like the first time that like DePaul is revising its mission statement in like what 4 or 5 years, I'm not exactly sure if like previous like SGAs have been involved in this like approval process. So yes, I don't know, like that's just like my concern, but like I personally don't know how we could maybe like request or like more so demand that a student would be a part of that conversation or like that decision.
Wesley, do you have a response to Jessica's point?
Yeah, it was kind of what I was actually gonna raise. I think Honestly, I think it's something we should demand. I was on my birthday, I spent some time hanging out at Loyola's SGA meeting, and I was just listening on what they were doing. And they said they have 5, they're adding a 6th member on board of trustees as like full members. Like right now, we just have a guest. They have 5 members of the board of trustees that are student representatives, and they sit on like 6 different committees, or maybe it's 5 different committees. And I think really, if we want, I mean, like I think it's almost past due that we go and have more influence when it comes to the board of trustees and having more saying what that happens. I think not just with the mission revision process, but like with everything that happens. Like they were talking about their meeting specifically about having a seat on their like investment policy or something, investment committee basically of the board of trustees. They had a student rep on that. And like they were talking about appointing people to that at their meeting. And I really think that's something that like, in addition to something like earlier this year talking about track, but also like getting more information. I think that involves getting those university bylaws, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I did spend my birthday doing that. It was fun. I was just chilling. It was great. That's what I like spending my time doing. So it was cool. But anyways, back to the point, like, yes, I think we should really demand that. I think really at a larger sense, we should also be looking to get more opportunities to be on and be part of the conversations that happen on the board of trustees, especially because we're just like a guest now. Like that is to me a bit of a shame that like we are only a guest, and that even talking about the mission revision process, this is the first time in when they've revised it that students have even been involved. Like previous times when they revised in 2016, it was simply just the board of trustees, no students at all. And I think that's also really sad.
Okay, I see Francesca's hand, then Gami.
Yeah, so I and Courtney kind of mentioned this a bit in the chat. So like when we were having this discussion with the mission and mystery people who came, like I also asked Father Memo like why, you know, the board of trustees is like the end all and why don't we have student representation there? And he kind of like mumbled about the bylaws. So that's what I think if we're talking about like a first step, I think making a resolution that we're like formally requesting access to the bylaws is really important, because it's like really kind of crappy that the administration time and time again references like things like bylaws and policies, but then those are not made available to student representatives. So like we can't really do anything until we see that language and we like propose amendments to that language, and like, you know, so that's where I think is a really good starting point. But of course, like we can be doing multiple things at once, but I think that your concern is absolutely valid. Also really quick plug, that's what my hand was originally open like for. Yeah, so mental health committees, first kind of like mental health conversation is this Monday, November 2nd. We're going to be talking about self-care during elections. So it's at 4 p.m. and it's a live stream, and I'll send more info in the Slack, but you all should check it out.
Awesome. Thank you, Francesca. Gami?
Okay, I had forgot what I was going to say, but now I remember. So Keith and I were recently on a panel presenting to the Board of Trustees, along with President Esteban, Christine, and the president of DAB, I forgot his name.
Connor Mudd.
Yeah. And basically the Board of Trustees were just talking about how much they love and appreciate hearing from students' perspectives. And they were glad that we did that. And then I received some follow-up emails from a couple saying that they were glad that I spoke up about certain things and like just educated them about what's going on from a student standpoint. So I don't really know what we can do with that information, but I don't know if it's performative or if they genuinely care about our perspective, but we should probably do something with that information.
I agree. I don't know what we could do with it, but I agree with you. So if anyone else has ideas, we could definitely share those now. Or like take time to think about it and maybe revisit it too next week. Anyone else? I don't see any more hands up.
Oh, just last one. I guess I had a question. Do we have like an idea or like a timeline of when we could like access the bylaws? Because it seems like based from your conversation, it's something that SGA has like requested, but then we haven't gotten back from them. Is what my understanding is.
Well, so for clarification, just so everyone knows the process, so I emailed Gene Jarsky, the Vice President for Student Affairs, last week and asked him, and so he had to ask someone else. So there is a chance, in all transparency, I emailed Gene the reminder very late in the day, and we also had a divisional Halloween party that Kelsey and a couple other folks, I apologize, I was talking to Kelsey about it, it's 2 other people also helped judge. So I probably asked him late in the day. I think if you all want to do something because you haven't heard in a week, like, but the only ask so far from the bylaws has been from me emailing Gene. So do with what you will.
Wesley?
I think in that sense, because I think this is definitely coming from a student side, I think we could make a resolution if anyone wants to. I know like Francesca and I could work on it. If no one else wants to, if anyone wants to, you can put it in the chat. We could work on one. I mean, you don't necessarily have to pass it. Like if we, by next week, we've worked on it and then we get a response and we get them, then we don't need to pass it. But I think that's something where I think it'll also making it like SGA itself wants it, as opposed to it's great, Courtney, that you're doing it, but it's also like, I think if it was coming from students, I think that's a different also tinge to it or different kind of expression to it. So yeah, okay. If anyone else wants to, put it in the chat and I can make a little Slack channel and we can work on it. That's all.
I might also suggest if you want it to be a student ask, Misa, I think this is a great ask of the chief of staff group. So like, I think, yes, you can plan like next week to do that, but they might even have more like quicker. I mean, Gene's the vice president, like he probably had 100 different things and just put it on his to-do list and hasn't gotten to it. But it might be a better ask to that chief of staff group. And Misa, you might share like some of the context for it too.
Cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns for the good of the order? Okay. Well, we are at the end of our meeting, so I motion to adjourn this meeting at 9 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Awesome. Okay, well, good night, everybody. I hope you all have a restful weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, good night.
Don't forget to vote.
Bye.
Yeah,
Don't forget to vote.
do it.